The movie M3GAN is both smart but stupid, thrilling and predictable, funny but emotional, fun and exciting. No matter what you thought of the movie, you have to agree, it was an exciting pattern of the genre itself. Some would conclude that it's brilliant in its own way, but how brilliant can this new thrill ride of a movie be? Was it an accidental success, or a genius portrayal of the adaptation that we have seen a few times before? To understand how the brilliance of this movie M3GAN came about, we have to go behind the scenes and find out what little details they did to set this movie aside from all its predecessors. M3GAN manages to balance opposite sides of the spectrum, and the way they did this was perfectly clever. But the reason for doing so goes deeper than you thought. So really, the story of M3GAN is designed to be unnerving throughout the entire movie. It constantly makes the audience feel that something just doesn't feel quite right. And they achieve this by using a variety of clever techniques. Furniture, textiles, and lighting are cold and somber. This gives the house more of a feel of a bachelor's pad, rather than the warm and pretty atmosphere you'd expect of a feminine household. This gives the viewers a feeling of contradiction, that this residence wasn't actually a comfortable place. It was a generic house rather than a family home. The high-tech toy factory was also designed to be contradictory, by combining the looks of a toy factory and a science lab. The room where Katie first meets M3GAN was made to look colorful, childlike, and happy, while the walls, furniture, ceiling, and lighting was designed to be sterile, ordered, and minimalistic. This for a scene that on the surface should be enduring, but instead feels somewhat unsettling. This intentional discord continued with the actual M3GAN doll itself. To achieve the illusion that M3GAN was a real android, they used 3 different methods. For long shots where M3GAN had to move quickly, they used a child actor in a mask. When these shots also required a close-up of M3GAN's face, they used the same method, but the mask was replaced with a digital version of M3GAN's doll face. For all the other shots, animatronic puppets were used. For the movie, Moto Effects Studios built a variety of animatronic puppets, and as you can see, they could have easily made the doll a hyper-realistic version. However, the filmmakers wanted the M3GAN doll to just be on the edge of reality, in a place that the industry calls Uncanny Valley. The term Uncanny Valley originally comes from a Japanese paper. It maps out our feelings, and how we feel about something human, and how we feel about something that's not human. But as it becomes more and more human-like, there's drop-off in points. Films like Final Fantasy and Polar Express are infamous for having accidental fallen into Uncanny Valley. But M3GAN did this on purpose. Another way they achieved this method, although this one may have not been intentional, but it arose from different methods used for the M3GAN doll. As you have noticed earlier, the actor in the mask, the animation puppet, and the viral effects are all just slightly different. This technique adds M3GAN's unsettling appearance, but it wasn't M3GAN's look alone that was inconsistent, but the way she moved. The way she moved varied. In some scenes it was clearly robotic, and in others it was human-like. Other times it was wild and animalistic, and in others completely alien. The variety of movement gave M3GAN the unpredictability that left the audiences never quite knowing what to expect. Sound design is an extremely important component of any movie, but perhaps even more within the movie M3GAN. M3GAN used sound design to increase the tension of a scene. Let's take the forest scene for instance, where the sudden silence brings a sense of impending doom, and the introduction of a low rumbling bass adds menace. Then later they use it to reinforce an action or motion to give the impression of something charging up. And again later it's used when M3GAN's running on all fours to give her motion a more aggressive approach. M3GAN also uses clever sound designs to trigger our imagination. In this scene, the clever use of sound meant that the viewers could imagine what would happen next, without them ever having to show it on screen. If we replay the last part and listen closely, all it took was a crunch, an orchestrated hit on a deep bass drum, and the dog's whimper to trigger our imaginations. The clever reason of doing everything that we've discussed in this video was to open the movie M3GAN up to a wider audience by getting a PG-13 rating. By making the M3GAN doll look how she did, they made the viewer instantly distrust her before she even opened her mouth. By making her movements sloppy and choppy, they made the audience wary of her capability by creating contracting sets and scenery. They put the viewers subconsciously on edge. With clever sound design, they built up tension and simulated the viewer's imagination. By introducing humor, they got the viewers to release some of that tension, but still be aware that something suspenseful was coming. And finally, by using all these techniques, not only did the filmmakers manage to scare us with some pretty decent horror, but they managed to do this without the need for extreme blood and gore.